Alright everyone, I'm going to start a video series here. For those of you who have been subscribed to me for a while, probably remember this tractor. This is a 1945 Ford 2N. This is the tractor that I did a complete engine rebuild, as you can see from the new paint. This winter I'm going to be going through the rest of it, from the steering, from the transmission, to the hydraulics, to the rear axle. Everything's going to be replaced and restored to 100%. So this tractor will be pretty much brand new once I'm done. The front end has also been rebuilt with all new bearings and bushings, and so yeah, we're going to get started here real soon. I'm not going to get into too much detail as far as some of the teardown, like taking off the hood or the wheels and the fenders. That's pretty much basic stuff, but I will slow down and take some better videos to help aid anyone who is working on their Ford 9N or 2N tractor. For those of you who have an 8N, you'll see a lot of similarities, but there are a lot of differences as well. And as I go throughout the video, I will point out some of those differences. So let's get started. Okay, as you can see, the hood has been removed. The gas tank stays in the hood. And as you can see, the dash, all the wiring has been removed. The steering or tie rods are gone. The radius rods have been detached. Over on the other side, the exhaust has been removed, and the front half of the tractor is now ready to be split. However, we have to take care of some business in the back first. Okay, we're at the back of the tractor here. The first thing we need to do is remove the overriding clutch. There is a roll pin that goes down through the center, and to get it out, you have to take the grease fitting out at the top, and then there's a little plug at the bottom. Some of them have grease fittings on both ends, but it needs to be removed at both ends and drive this pin out, and then you'll be able to just slide out the overriding clutch, and you're ready to remove the PTO shaft.
Let it put it back.
If the shaft does not come out easily like that, do not force it, because they have a tendency to get twisted at the end after years of abuse, and this part actually goes through the hydraulic pump, and if you force it and try to jerk it out, it will shatter the pump into pieces. Alright, the next thing you want to do is come around to the left side of the tractor where your clutch and brake are, and you see the plate where the lever to engage and disengage the PTO. That will need to be removed, so the lever will be disconnected from the housing that engages the PTO in and out of gear. And then from there you'll be able to remove the transmission from the rest of the tractor, or the rear housing. One more thing before you separate the engine from the transmission. It's very important that you put some wood shims of some sort underneath the axle on both sides, as you can see here. That will prevent the axle and engine from pivoting. It makes it for a lot easier too when you go to roll it back to the tractor to attach it again. It's not flopping around, and it's a lot safer just to keep everything stationary. Alright, we have successfully separated the engine from the rest of the tractor, as you saw in the pictures. And I can't stress enough safety, patience, and just taking your time. I mean, this isn't a large tractor by any means, but it is still extremely heavy. Just watch your fingers and your feet and everything. If you saw in the pictures, we actually had a jack stand underneath the oil pan to give some added support, but we also used the engine hoist to roll it back. And so now the next step is to split the tractor right back here from the rear housing, and we're going to set the transmission on the floor here in front of me to work on that. I think I failed to mention the reason why I'm tearing the transmission apart is there was a slight, I guess you would call it a growling sound when the tractor was running and it was in neutral. So we got a bearing, or maybe more than one bearing, probably just getting pitted through years of being in dirty oil and stuff like that. This tractor has been in the family since almost new, and this is the first any work has ever been done to the transmission, so it's about time. It's served many years, so we're going to freshen it up, and also we're going to restore the gearbox here. We're not going to deal with that right now. Right now I'm just going to get the transmission out and replace what needs to be replaced. There is like a timing procedure for these to get your steering to function properly and make sure that the wheels are in straight line and everything. So we'll take care of that. Just a quick look into here. You can see some oil in the bottom here. Obviously the seal or gasket back there is leaking. I see a lot of questions a lot of times. There is a Carter pin right down, see that right there, and it just dangles there. You can see the top of it right here. What is the purpose of that? Well, that is a hole to relieve any leakage like you have here, or from the main seal of the rear seal of the engine. If that is not in there, that hole will eventually get plugged with dirt, and it will fill up with oil here and just entirely flood this whole area, and it will get all over your clutch, and you won't be going too far or be able to pull anything too heavy, that's for sure. This clutch is all brand new, that's why it's all shiny, when the engine was rebuilt a few years ago. So we don't have to do anything with that. So so yeah, the next step is to remove the transmission, and I'll take some pictures and share with you that. Alright, before we take the transmission out, we're going to remove the steering, and then we're able to use the leveler on the engine hoist here to grab a top with the bolts and be able to take it out. It has to come out straight for about 8 to 12 inches, and then you can bring it out, and then we're going to lay it down on the floor. Alright, as you can see, the transmission has been removed. I took some pictures there to show you. It's just really hard to have the camera rolling while I'm splitting the tractor, and I just don't really want to make for a long video, so I just take some snapshots and I'll give you kind of a rough idea of what needs to take place. But the transmission now is sitting on this workmate stand here, and I have some blocks of wood under there so it don't rock, and I do have it strapped, and so it's sturdy. It ain't gonna go nowhere. But let's take a look inside here, and I'll shine some light on. There we go. That right there is your hydraulic pump. I'm going to be doing a complete rebuild on that, but that's going to be in another part video. Right now we're just focused on the transmission and rebuilding that. But this is your main shaft at the top there. That might stay on the back of the transmission when you separate it, or it might stay there, but it doesn't matter. It just slides in and out. And here you can even see this is your hydraulic cylinder where the piston rides back and forth. You can see the linkage back there. On a 9N and 2N, the linkage is different from an 8N. Okay, this is, the 9N and 2Ns are a little bit harder to deal with, the linkage, but all in all, it's not too bad. The pumps are the same on an 8N, but like I said, the linkage is different. I'm going to take you over to the transmission now. Alright, so here's the transmission. As you can see, this is your throwout bearing. This is brand new. These springs are brand new, but they are not like the original, and I did find original ones at the time when I was rebuilding the engine. One of the original ones was broken, so I replaced it with two. These are just like springs for like a sliding glass door or something like that, but I'm going to replace that. They do the job, but I just want something a little bit stronger to keep that back so it never rides on your pressure plate. But just a quick view into the transmission here. It looks kind of nasty. I got a little bit of a, I wouldn't say rust, but it's just like there's some moisture in there. But it's going to clean up really good, I can tell. But just rotating all the gears, they all look great. There's no chipped teeth or nothing. Like I said, I think I got kind of a bearing going bad. But this is the back part of the transmission, and this is your main shaft. Goes back to the ring and pinion, your main drive shaft. And this is your PTO coupler. Remember in that one, the first part, I had to take the plate off the side of the tractor there. You can see right at the tip of my finger. If you don't take that off, it is connected into here, and it will not let you split the tractor. So that had to be removed. But this is what disengages and engages your PTO. Like right now, it would be disengaged, and then you'd hit that forward. I can't do it and hold a camera at the same time, but it just connects and disconnects the PTO. So we're gonna tear this down completely down to bare casting, clean it, inspect all of the bearings, and we'll go from there. Whatever needs done will be done, and stay tuned. The first thing you need to do when disassembling the transmission is to take your shifter rails. These are these rods right here, one on each side, and these are your shifting forks. They actually physically move the gears back and forth for first, second, third, and reverse. And how you do that is in the back. We will be removing that bolt, and then you will pound, or tap I should say, tap these shifter rails to the front of the transmission, where they will exit in the bell housing area. Alright, we've got to remove the 9/16 bolt. a little piece of plate here. Just slide that down or up. That holds the shifter rails into place. Now that they're unlocked, we'll be able to start driving these to the front. You need a pretty long rod to push it. You got a lot of distance to travel, but this will get it started. Once those rods are removed, your shifter forks will just come right out like that. You'll probably hear something fall down at the bottom of the transmission, and that is, there's actually a little spring down in that hole, and there's a little metal ball. That little metal ball will ride and lock into each notch of your shifter rail, and that's how your tractor will help stay in gear and won't jump out. So those particular ones fell down in there, but we can get them once we remove all the other gears. Okay, the next step is to remove these 4 bolts, and this is your main shaft bearing retainer. There are metal shims in the back. I try not to damage them, but if you do, you can get new ones. And it's kind of a press fit. You got to work your way around here. The weight of the shaft is actually holding the cap too, so you might want to lift up on that. Here's your bearing race. This is the cap. Here are all the shims. There is no set number. You have to set these up. We'll show you that later when we put it back together. And then here is your roller bearing on the main shaft. And we'll slide the rest of that out of there. Alright, next thing to come off is your counter bearing support and your PTO and gauge. It also has 4 bolts just like the top here, and there will also be shims there, and it basically comes out the same way as that cap did, other than it's a lot bigger. Here is what looks like down there without the main gears out. Everything looks pretty good there. Set that to the side. There are bearings in here, by the way. You got a roller bearing back here. Here's your shims. It's got a couple there. And now we can pull out the counter shaft. Alright, the counter shaft is up out through here. One thing I failed to mention, this is the PTO hub. Before you try to remove the shaft up through the top, remove this bolt and this hub will come off. It will slide right off. It'll give you enough clearance down here to get it up through the top here. It's a tight fit, but if you wiggle it one way and turn it, it will come right out pretty easily. Alright, I removed the 2 springs that hold the throw out bearing back. Once that's done, throwing bearing comes right out. This bearing is only a few years old, so we can use that one again. And then I've already removed the 4 bolts to the top of this housing for the input shaft, and then down below there's another 4 bolts. That's also a housing for the bearing race. Both of these have bearing races, so you have to remove those if you want to replace them. that cap's going to need tapped out, but as you can see from the other one, there is the bearing race, and there's a seal in there also. Very important to replace that seal even if you're just doing a clutch repair, because if that leaks it will get on your flywheel. And you can remove this with just the engine out. You can take this whole housing off and replace that seal. Alright, here all the gears are on the floor here. Remember that growling sound I was telling you about? Well, I found it right away, and here it is. I don't know if you can hear this on camera, but you can even see it. It wobbles and it's really rough compared to something like this. Whoops. See how nice and straight and true that is? Doesn't make as much noise either. That was definitely the sound. You also have to be very careful. This bearing actually rides inside of this gear. There is no race. So you have to make sure that the inside is not pitted or scratched. This one looks pretty good. There's a couple places where it looks like it might start be pitting, but can't really feel anything or catch anything on your fingernail. But I'll get that cleaned up and make an assumption later whether or not that has to be replaced, but I'm feeling pretty confident that that is okay. Alright everyone, that concludes part one of the transmission removal and disassembly. I invite you to watch part two, where we will have transmission case all cleaned up and we will start to assemble the new components and put it all back together, as well as the steering box. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please comment below and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible.